We have a quorum.
Thank you, Mr. Holcomb. At this time, we'll move on to the approval of the minutes. Is there a motion to approve the minutes from the February 19th meeting? Motion from Commissioner Addison, second from Commissioner Boyd. Are there any objections? Seeing none, this item has been approved. At this time, I'll ask the Vice Chairman to read in the rules for conducting public hearings.
The rules for conducting public hearings. This is a public meeting. Any interested member of the public who wishes to comment on any item from this agenda may comment in person at City Hall, 222 St. Louis Street, 3rd floor, room 348, during the meeting. Members of the public desiring to speak on a particular item should refer to a meeting agenda and complete necessary information prior to the meeting by filling out a request to speak card, indicating on which item you wish to speak, and place it in the designated location prior to the meeting. Applicant and applicant's representatives for the proposal will speak first for a total or combined a period of not to exceed 15 minutes. Proponents will speak and then the opponents. Each speaker will not be allowed more than 3 minutes. Speakers are requested to limit their remarks by avoiding duplication of their presentations. Applicant will be allowed a total period of 5 minutes for rebuttal. Opponents will not be allowed to rebut. Items placed on the consent agenda by the Planning Commission staff will not have time allocated for speaking unless there is a member of the public at the meeting who wishes to speak on an item. In such cases, the proposal will follow the standard procedure. Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Vice Chairman Grau. We can now move on to the consent agenda. Mr. Baldwin.
There are no items for consent for withdrawal. Consent for items for deferral, items 4 and 5. PA 224, T15351, 15417, 15437, 15487, 15547, 15585, and 15400 through 15600 River Road to amend the comprehensive land use plan from residential neighborhood to mixed use located on the east side of River Road, south of LaBerge Crossing Drive. PUD 109, LaBerge Baton Rouge, Concept Plan Revision 4, to rezone property from rural to planned unit development, PUD, and increase residential and commercial land uses throughout the development, located at the intersection of River Road and LaBerge Crossing Drive. Consent items for approval. Case 1024, 9400 through 9500 Piku Lane, to rezone property from heavy commercial C2 to light industrial M1, located east of Piku Lane, south of Interstate 10. Case 1124, 3333 North Acadian Thruway, to rezone property from light commercial C1 to heavy commercial C1, located on the west side of North Acadian Thruway, south of Ozark Street. Case 1224, 2560 Government Street, to rezone property from light commercial C1 to commercial alcoholic beverage restaurant CAB1, located on the south side of Government Street, west of Lavinia Street. Case 1324, 2900 through 3000 Valley Street, to rezone property from limited residential A3.1 to neighborhood commercial NC, located on the west side of Valley Street, north of Plumbrook Drive. Case 1524, 9432 Jefferson Highway, to rezone property from single-family residential A1 to general office low-rise GOL, located on the south side of Jefferson Highway, east of Bluebonnet Road. PUD 200, Elite Training Academy, Burbank University, Final Development Plan Revision, proposed decrease of building square footage and related parking, and addition of a billboard within the development, located on the south side of Burbank Drive, west of Lee Drive. Planning Commission staff certifies that all of these items are consistent with the comprehensive plan and the Unified Development Code.
We have requests from the public to pull item 11, case 1324, 2900 to 3000 Valley Street, and item 12, case 1524, 9432 Jefferson Highway, from the consent agenda to be heard in the regular agenda order.
Thank you. Commission members, we will be pulling items 11 and 12. You have heard the remaining items that have been placed on the consent agenda that will be taken with one vote. Are there any members of the Planning Commission who have an item on consent that they would like to be pulled to be heard as part of the regular agenda? Do we have any members of the public present who would like to speak on any items that are on the consent agenda? Seeing none, is there a motion? Motion by Vice Chairman Grout. I'll reiterate this. The question is, would you like to speak on any of the motions, any of the items that are on the consent agenda? Okay. Okay. So he's confirmed that his item of interest is not on the consent agenda. I believe I had a motion from Vice Chairman Grout. Is there a second to that motion? Second from Commissioner Addison. Are there any objections? Seeing none, these items have now been approved, and we can move on to the regular agenda, beginning with item number 2, Plan Amendment 124, and item number 3, Case 1424, 5454 Highland Road.
PA-1-24, 5454 Highland Road, related to case 14-24. The property is located on the south side of Highland Road, east of Ben Hur Road, Council District 12, Raqqa. The applicant is Dr. Baton Kundu. The applicant proposed a change in the comprehensive uses plan amendment from residential neighborhood to compact neighborhood. Related case 14-24, 5454 Highland Road. The applicant proposed a change in zoning from single-family residential A1 to limited residential A3.1. Proposed use, religious institution. The future BR land use designation is residential neighborhood. PA-1-24, 5454 Highland Road, related to case 14-24.
And staff recommends denial based upon the land use designation of residential neighborhood appearing appropriate and cannot certify that the request meets the criteria for a change in zoning. It is inconsistent with the comprehensive plan and incompatible with the existing character or usage of the neighborhood.
The Planning Commission office has received 17 messages in support of this item. However, the councilwoman has shared with our office that she has received messages of concern and opposition.
Thank you. At this time, I'll open the public hearing and invite the applicant to speak for a period not to exceed 15 minutes.
You want to open since you sent the letter?
That's okay, go ahead.
Hello, nice to be with y'all today. Certainly we would hope for approval for our property or for the property we want to purchase. I'm very eager to hear the opposition's reasons why they don't want us to be there. The neighborhood is not completely residential. There's plenty of commercial activity all the way around. There's a big water tower on one side. There's a tree line next to a residence. I encourage everybody to go by there and see it. We're willing to work with the opposition to keep their privacy. I don't know what their objections will be, but again, I'll restate that, we're willing to work with them. We bring a lot to the table. This property's been on the market for 800 days. Nobody's bought it. As far as I understand it, it holds water in the back of the property. You can only build something on the front of the property. We were 1 block away for 2 or 3 years and never received any complaints from any neighbors. We have a Sunday program. Students and other people come over for lunch. We have some classes on meditation and yoga. None of these things are very loud. We have temples and places of worship all over the world, 54 in the United States. And, we offer a lot to the cities that have accommodated us, and we can do the same for Baton Rouge. We have been in New Orleans since 1971 and have worked very well with the city there. We hope to do the same here in Baton Rouge. We have a lot of support from the local Indian community. We have support from the students. The gentleman most responsible for purchasing this property, his daughter set up a yoga club at LSU, and that has flourished very nicely. For many years, we have distributed books and occasionally chanted on the University of LSU. We've given classes at Southern University, as well as other universities around the Gulf Coast. And we would certainly like to make a home here. Since we during the pandemic, we closed the little center we had, and Mr. Howder, the person who would be running our place of worship here in Baton Rouge, he's been doing these functions at his house. But, he can't continue just doing it at the house. We would like to have our own place to expand our food distribution programs. We do distribute food at universities, very famous for doing that in Gainesville, Florida, and other places around the country. We would hope to do the same at LSU, as well as to people that may be more needful than even students, as well as other people. Since it is sanctified food, it's not that this food is just for the hungry, but it's for the well-being of any lady or gentleman. Dr. Mohan here, he sent a letter to the council. I don't think I could articulate any points that were not in that letter, but I would hope everybody had read it, and I'd like to ask him to say something concerning that.
And if you could both state your full names for the record.
Oh, my name is John Berg, B-E-R-G.
Thank you.
We have been trying to establish a yoga center for many years. He can vouch me that was 1979. We tried it a long time ago. But it didn't happen. But Sarvatara Prabhu, he came here and he started this process, and he's going very well, because what is the purpose of this yoga center? I mean, today's youth are bewildered by the society's situation. Internet, drinking, intoxication, illicit sex, all of this problem. So they don't know what they're doing. So actually there's an avenue for the youth to get involved, how they can control their mind by meditation, yoga. And the yoga system is started 5,000 years before by Vedic culture. And it has been proved everywhere throughout the world that it works. If they can control their mind, what is good for them and what is not good for them, they will be better citizens, and they will be helpful for the society. Of course, I am emphasizing on the students. LSU, Southern University, Baton Rouge Community College, they are welcome. And in fact, the students are benefited. 2018, when it started, exactly the opposite side of this land, 5454 Highland Road, in an apartment, the students started it. And it went very well for 2 years. And nobody complained about that, because we don't make any noise. It is inside the house, prayer, meditation, relaxation, rejuvenation. So how to control your mind? That is the purpose. So if the students do that, they will be better in their schoolwork and college work. And in fact, those students who started, they got masters and PhD, and then find job, and they left here. And as a result, Sarvatara Prabhu was our guide. He's been involved with this ISKCON, International Society of Krishna Consciousness, for 38 years. And he has been the deputy administrator or director of the ISKCON Center in New Orleans. So he's our guide. So what we are trying to do in this center, and his daughter already started the Bhakti Yoga Center at LSU. Every semester they meet once in a week and discuss and pray, and they get guidance about it, then they feel good about it. So that's what I'm trying to do. I don't know, we appreciate your opposition, but explain to you. If your opposition tell us very clearly, we can explain to you, this will be good for the community, because we don't make any noise. Opposite to our place is the fraternity house. And I heard that they make some noises and etc. But we don't make any noise. The purpose of this place is to, inside the room, we'll be praying and meditating. That's all. And then outside, we'll have a garden. They can relax and also meditate. That's the purpose. We're not making any public nuisance. That's not the point. Otherwise, see, this ISKCON movement started by Srila Prabhupada, a devotee of Lord Krishna. And he came to the United States 1965, and 66 he registered this ISKCON, International Society of Krishna Consciousness. And he taught the people who are drug addict, alcohol intoxicated in New York City. Nobody took care of them. But Prabhupada said, well, I can do that with my prayer, chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And he did it. So those people came to his prayer and everything. He went to the park and meditated and chanted Hare Krishna Mahamantra. They joined it. And then ultimately they became a disciple. And they built a temple in New York. And then to San Francisco, the Los Angeles, and then Boston. Now in the United States, we have 54 temple and centers. Here we went to a center. We are not talking about temple, just a center. In the whole world, there are 800 temples and centers throughout the world. And the main thing, four things that we teach them, that don't get intoxicated, don't gamble, and don't have illicit sex, and be vegetarian. What is the other thing? I forgot.
That's it.
That's it. So that is the main thing. And in fact, the today's youth and adult, all of them, trying to get involved into vegetarian food because that is good for the health. You can eat a lot of meat, that's why you get a lot of cancers and other diseases. So vegetarian food helps quite a bit. So that is our purpose. And also in that neighborhood, we went to the neighborhood, we talked to them. In the map, it shows that this is our area that we are thinking, about 2 plots, 1 acre of land. You have a water tower here, and a water tower next to the water tower. It's completely barren there. You can see the picture in your screen, you saw it. Nobody bought the land. So we want to develop the land and have a nice place for meditation and relaxation and teaching. That's all. And there are a lot of benefits that I gave you in my letter. I think you have the letter. I sent you some of the council members, commission members. You have received it. I think that's a good explanation. If you have any question, please feel free to ask. We are not making any nonsense or here, no public nuisance. It would be helpful that when the land is developed, the property prices will go up. That's for sure. People will appreciate that area. It is a jungle there. And then nobody cared for it. Even the owner didn't care for it. So we want to update that area and develop the center. So I need your help and approval. So if you have any questions, it is a composite neighborhood anyway. We have a bank here. And then this is the place, we had the students started the prayer center in this place, next to it. And nobody complained for last 2 years, 2018 to 20. And on this side, you have bank, and then you have a gas station and another bank. So it's mostly the composite neighborhood anyway.
Thank you, sir. And could you please state your full name for the record?
I'm Dr. Madan Mohan Kundu.
Thank you. We have several. Does that conclude your presentation, sir?
I beg pardon?
Were you finished? Were you complete?
Yes, I'm
okay.
finished. Unless
Okay,
you have a
you can have a
question, I'll be
seat.
happy
We
to
have
answer.
several other speaker cords that we'll be calling up. Thank you. We have several speaker cords that are in favor. I'll be calling those names to the podium at this time. I believe this first card is this Don Miller? Mr. Miller, you have the floor for 3 minutes.
Thank you. Good afternoon. It's Don Newmiller, actually.
My apologies.
Thank you. I'm very happy to be here. Thank you very much. I've been a practitioner of this Bhakti Yoga that we're discussing for a little over 45 years. I've had a small business that my wife and I operate for a little over 20 years. And I'm happy to say that I'm a full-time student at LSU, taking advantage of the great state of Louisiana's program to offer free tuition to anyone 65 years and older. So I'm really grateful to Louisiana for that. But aside from that, I would, first they touched on many points. Just wanted to talk about some of the positive aspects that I've experienced. One of the primary teachings of this system of Bhakti Yoga is that we are all spiritual beings. We are not bound by what we look like, either men or women, black or white or Asian or anything. These are all minor designations. Our real designation is as a spiritual being. So the teachings that we will be dealing with and presenting at this property is helping to create a harmony in society, that we can all get along, that we don't have as many differences as sometimes people think we have. We all have that same spiritual nature. And in addition to that, there will be presenting cooking classes, teaching. I'm sure all of you have heard at different times about Meatless Monday, try to cut down on greenhouse emissions, less meat. Well, we do that every day, but we're not expecting everyone else to do that. But as much as anyone could incorporate that in their life, it is found to be good for the planet. Cut down on meat, eating more vegetables, grains. So we would be regularly teaching cooking classes on that and the importance of that. So that's about, I don't want to drag it out by reiterating anything they said. We thank you very much for allowing us to speak, but our primary duty that we have is to share this knowledge with everyone, that we're all individually servants of God, and we would be working with community outreach and with comparative religion, discussing with other religions, how we can all find a harmony within this world, how we can all work together. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Our next card is for Sankar Holdar.
Hello, everyone,
Good evening.
all the members of the commission. So thank you so much to allow me to speak a couple of minutes regarding the opening the Bhakti Yoga Center on 5454 Highland Road. I have been serving this movement last 38 years, and I have been serving in New Orleans as a director of Food for Life with the community relationship. And same thing we want to open here. I have been serving here last 8 years with my daughters. My one daughter is architect, another is going to medical school. Both of them are helping to community, students, and other members of the society. How you can get the peace and harmony with the Bhakti Yoga. Means in Bible says also we are spirit soul. And same thing I have been founding in our Vedic wisdom in Bhagavad Gita. That actually our Srila Prabhupada, who is the founder of this society all over the world, and we are one of the representative. I am one of the instrument to helping cooking, gardening, and giving the Vedic wisdom that our senior members already mentioned. So if you allow us to help that society in this community, then my whole family can involve to serve, because I am already retired from my college. So I like to dedicate myself, selfless service to the society. I'm not taking any salary, because I don't need. I need limited things. My daughter is providing. So I'm getting a lot of support from American, Indian, all the communities. Already I talked to different shelter also in downtown in the Baton Rouge, to giving our Vedic wisdom, and they are changing their life, giving up drugs and alcohol, and they are asking me to give the sanctified food. So all the time, if you come New Orleans, you will see more than 100 people come every Sunday. I am in charge of the cooking, and people love our food, or our literature, our austerity, our regulative lives that we like to present. So if you allow us, it will be very helpful for the community, and I will get satisfaction. So thank you so much.
Thank you. I believe the remainder of these cards have a comment, so I'll be asking whether or not you still intend to speak. William Taylor, marks if needed. Okay. Next card, please forgive me if I mispronounce this. Balaji Anjanapa. Hi.
Hello everyone, my name is Balaji Anjanapa.
I did
So
good.
I'm a student in LSU, So I'm a vice president of the Bhakti Yoga Center, which is happening every Wednesday. So I joined this club recently after coming to LSU. So I'm going to tell the experience. So I started learning more about ethics, morals, and respect, especially to the elders and to our parents. So the center has been teaching this, and it's been a game changer for me. And also I want to give a quote that is given by Daniel Goleman. He's a PhD holder. The ability to handle stress increases with the practice of meditation. In a culture like ours, in which inner spiritual growth is totally neglected in favor of materialistic pursuits, we might have something to learn from the Hare Krishna devotees' meditation practices. Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you,
Have
sir.
a good day.
Our next card is for Lee Seghers.
Hello, everyone. My name is Lee Sagers. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak a couple minutes. And I have been practicing Bhakti Yoga for nearly 10 years, and I have been assisting Mr. Sankar to supporting the Bhakti Yoga Club in LSU. And I'm here, I just want to speak on the point of being a mom, have a child that's going to college. My daughter's second year college, and I have another one is going to college this year. So I just want to, of course, people here probably have same experience. And the children these days are very bewildering because they don't have proper guidance and they lack of spiritual practice. So from this practice, I really benefit for myself and my family. And I want to do that to help others as well, And I'm also a certified Atma Yoga teacher, instructor. So if this center is built, and I definitely can participate and offer any help that I can provide. So this is just a few cents I want to give it to everybody. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next card is for Dan Crary.
I've been in the movement since 1975, 49 years. This is a picture of our founder. I don't know if you can see very well. I have one quick story that one man, he was very upset that his daughter had joined the Hare Krishnas. We're talking in the late 70s, early 80s. He was very angry, and he'd come very disturbed to the temple and rant and rave because his daughter had joined full time. And somehow or other, in those days, sometimes some of us in the airports were incognito, not with the full monk garb, looked like you all. And the man got one book from one of us. This is a condensed version of a 6-volume set. It's a biography of our founder, Prabhupada. And this book then was called Prabhupada. He built a house in which the whole world can live. And so somehow or other, this man got this book. And he read the whole book, and he actually became so affected. He came to the temple, and he had tears in his eye. He was crying, and he said, "Please forgive me. Please forgive me." He said, "I did not know how great this man was and how many sacrifices he made to bring this ancient knowledge to the Western world." And for those of you interested, if you need afterwards, I have a movie that my friend made that went to 38 countries, Amazon Prime now, very high reviews, was in all the big theaters in North America in 2017. When Prabhupada was asked by some of his, at a meeting, when Prabhupada used to give many lectures, and at a meeting someone said, "Can you perform a miracle?" In India, everybody knows sometimes there's these yogis or mystic yogis that can produce some gold from ash, some little miracle like this. And they said, "What, Prabhupada, have you made any miracles?" And Prabhupada said, "Yes." Prabhupada said, "I came to your country, and your government had tried for many years unsuccessfully to get drug-addicted hippies to give up their intoxication. And I came, and I told them to be a follower in this movement, and you have to give up intoxication." He said that now there's 5,000 young drug-addicted hippies that have given up intoxication. They live a clean life, and no illicit sex, no intoxication, no gambling. These are the rules Prabhupada established for following in his centers. And you said, and formerly young people that were not interested in God, now they're mad after God. So, like that, because they were frustrated, a lot of kids growing up in mainstream Western religious families, and some of the answers they wanted, they weren't being given by their leaders. So maybe one more point, let's see. I'm the one that was telling my compatriots here how I was there for the first one in Los Angeles, in LA Rath Yatra. Rath Yatra means the Festival of the Chariots. And now we've done it for almost 40 years. But I was at the first 13 of them.
Okay.
And
thank
one
you.
police chief.
Thank you, sir. Your time is up.
Okay, there you go. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Sorry I ran over time, everybody.
Not a problem. Thank you. We have two additional speaker cards that are in favor but have indicated they do not wish to speak. Those are for Naratam Roy and Misery Newmiller. As we did not have any objections, we will not need a rebuttal. And so I will close the public hearing and invite any questions, comments from the commission. Vice Chairman Grout.
Mr. Director, they are asking for A 3.1. If I am not mistaken, there is a property just down Highland Road where we recently removed A 3.1 to neighborhood office because of what options are allowed under A 3.1. Is that correct?
That's correct, Vice Chairman. We had a case that's pointed out on the case history on the staff report in the immediate area. I believe the item was case 224. It's the first bullet point on page 2 of the staff report on the zoning report. Property was on the north side of Highland Road, again in the very immediate area, and it was downzoned from A 3.1 to neighborhood office because of concerns on the existing zoning and what it would allow.
And if I'm also correct, this is A1 as a worship center. They could have applied for a conditional use permit under A1 without any change to zoning or future land use. Is that correct?
That's correct, Vice Chairman. This property is designated on future BR as residential neighborhood and zoned single-family residential. When the applicant contacted our office, there was discussion on options moving forward. Planning staff did explain that the current zoning, A1, single-family residential, does allow religious institution uses, and that's what's being proposed. We classify it as described as under the category of religious institution uses. That use is a permitted use in A1 so long as you apply and are granted a conditional use permit. So there was another option to move forward and ask for a conditional use permit. However, the items being considered tonight were the other option, and that was explained to the applicant. And in this rezoning category that they're asking for, A 3.1 is named limited residential. It's primarily our multifamily zoning district, which much of the student housing, existing student housing surrounding LSU is zoned a similar zoning category. So it would allow multifamily by right, and this is the first zoning district that allows religious institutional uses by right without a conditional use permit. And this information was given to the applicant, and the applicant chose to proceed with the plan amendment and asking for the rezoning instead.
And I want to make sure the applicant clearly understands, in this rezoning, we're not rezoning for your worship space. We're rezoning this land to A31, which allows all these options. So if your worship space is here under A31 in 20 years, you've outgrown this facility and you wish to expand, then this property has the ability to be multifamily, a boarding house, lodging house, fraternity house, multifamily with 11.5 units on this property, two-family, educational institution, philanthropic organization, which neither of those are an issue, and a child daycare, which also would not be an issue. And it's not an issue as to what you wish to do with this property from me. My concern is this is going to A3.1, which would allow these other uses. If you would come back with, say, a PUD or an iSpud and said, this is exactly what we want to do, that's fine. If you had gone with a cup, the fact that there's no opposition here on Highland Road, you probably would have sailed through here today and not had the recommend denial from staff. And I think the reason that has happened is because of the other uses this would allow in perpetuity. Because we're not rezoning for you, we're rezoning the property, which that zoning would continue on afterwards. This being a good for the community is not the issue here specifically. It's a matter of what the zoning is. And, if you'd come back here with a conditional use permit request, I wouldn't have a problem with this. I have been to the Krishna house in New Orleans on Esplanade Avenue. I grew up in New Orleans, so I'm not unfamiliar. And yes, I do like vegetarian food. But this is not about a specific. This is about what happens with the land going forward. And if this were conditional use, I would be recommending this for approval. Unfortunately, when this does come with other commissioners having stated their piece, I unfortunately am going to have to vote to deny at this point. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chairman Grout. Additional comments from the commission. Commissioner Addison, I can't tell if you're gearing up to say something or not. I'm assuming you are.
I am. Mr. Chairman, thank you for that. Ryan, I want to ask a question because I too, as Commissioner Grout, has some concerns about taking us back to A3.1. And you too had explained to the applicants that they can possibly bring it as a cup, and they kind of denied or wanted to go the other direction. Is it possible for them to amend that to a cup, or is that out of the category now that you've already made the application at this stage?
So at this point, there would not be an option to capture a refund. Much of the staff work that's already been done, the advertisements that have been paid, and expenses, so on and so forth. We'd be happy to talk to them about a conditional use permit. I believe staff, like I said, have already had that discussion, but we'll be happy to revisit that. There's a little more design that's involved on the front end for a conditional use permit, but the benefit from the community is that they're locked into what's presented on the conditional use permit, on how they lay out the property, how where the parking is, how they site the buildings, landscape. That work would eventually have to be done anyway and applied for permits. But it is certainly an option expressed by Commissioner Grout and others tonight. So we would be happy to revisit that discussion.
But it would not be possible under this application tonight. We'd have no means of having to modify it one way or the other. So it's going to be an up or down vote on this A3.1. And then if you desire to come back, there'll be no provision stopping them from doing it in the future with the future cup.
That's correct. There's no way to amend this current application. It would have to be voted up or down or withdrawn by the applicant at some point if they chose to do so, and then submit new fees and a new application if they choose to go the conditional use permit route.
Thank you. Oh, final question. If by chance that this is denied, it would not affect them from being able to come back. I know there's some provisions that stop applicants from bringing items back before the commission once they've been denied. If this is denied tonight, would that stop them in the future from bringing it back up? Would they have a 12-month prohibition from bringing it back as a new applicant?
Good question. This would be deemed as a new, completely different application, so that 12-month would not apply to that.
Thank you very much. Again, I have some concerns as
Commissioner Grout had expressed that the A3.1 takes us back a bit from where we were trying to go in that particular neighborhood and in the parish in general. So for that reason, I'm not going to be able to support the A3.1 item. But in the future, if you guys decide to maybe bring it as a cup, do the additional level of details with staff, then I probably can support the item in the future, but not tonight. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Commissioner Addison. Vice Chairman Grout.
I want to reiterate what Commissioner Addison said. If this came in as a cup, I would be fully in support. So my denial tonight is over the 3.1, not over what you want to do. And if you brought this back as a cup, I wouldn't have a problem with it.
Additional questions or comments from the commission?
If I may, Mr. Chairman, I thank you for indulging me. I think the gentleman wants to say something. I think he's watching. One of them wants to say something. I'd like to recognize him for a second.
Sure.
So are you talking about A1 to 3.1, but I thought that it will be residential neighborhood to composite neighborhood, RN to CN?
I think what you're referring to is the difference between the two items. You have two items that are before us. One's a plan amendment and one is the actual request for a zoning change. I'll ask the director to quickly expound on that.
So again, I'm not sure who spoke to our staff. We have many staff members and professional planners, but there was some communication, multiple lines of communication early on before you submitted the rezoning and the companion plan amendment. The concerns tonight that were stated on the record were to potentially rezoning the property, the many other uses that would be allowed by right if this rezoning were granted, and there's no mechanism with the proposed rezoning to lock you into just the uses you described. I didn't hear any concerns about the specific uses you presented. The bigger concern is the broad other uses that are allowed by right, such as apartments, multifamily.
No, we are not talking about family residence there at all. It's mostly will be the area that will be preaching.
Sir.
And of course, the monk will stay there. That's not a multi-family situation at all.
If I may try to simplify the issues that have been expressed by the commission are not what you intend to do with the property. It's what you could do if we were to approve this. Because you would not be locked into your specific purpose. If we were to change the zoning, it would allow you to do things that you stated you have absolutely no intention of doing, but once we rezone it, we would have no way of stopping you from doing it. And so that's why we have concern with allowing you to do that. Whereas the conditional use permit that was recommended previously would allow you to submit a plan to do something very specific, and that would alleviate the concerns of the commissioners that have spoken today. Okay?
In fact, we submitted conditional use of the property. We did that before, but we were advised to do this RN to CN. The CN means 3.14?
No, staff gave you two options, and this was the option that you proceeded to go with. The other option is a very different route. You would have to hire a design professional, put together a set of plans, and that would be submitted as a conditional use permit. It's essentially a site plan locking you into a very specific layout of the property with very specific uses, whereas this proposal has very broad uses that's tied to it well beyond what you've described.
Well, we have that plan also.
Okay, you've not submitted an application for that plan specifically. Following this public hearing, you can get with a member of the staff, and I'm sure they'll be more than happy to let you know about the alternative options that will be available to you.
Do you have a comment?
Okay.
No, I thank you, and I'm sure Mr. Howler, was it you who chose to go this particular route?
Sir, I'll go ahead and stop you guys. There's no point in really going more into it. You've submitted an application for rezoning. You've not submitted an application for a conditional use permit. The commission has indicated they would be far more comfortable with what you have not submitted and are not comfortable with what you have submitted.
Okay.
We certainly appreciate
We'll
it.
try to go the other route.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Commission members, if there's no more need for discussion, is there a motion?
I'll go ahead and make a motion that we deny the 3.1.
There's a motion from Vice Chairman Grout to deny these two items. I believe there's a second from Commissioner Addison Are there any objections? Seeing none, these items are denied. We can now move on to items number 6 and 7, Plan Amendment 324 and Case 924, 6435 Winborn Avenue.
PA-3-24, 6435 Winborn Avenue, related to Case 9-24. The property is located on the north side of Winborn Avenue, east of East Brookstown Drive, Council District 7, Cole. The applicant is Ray Leo. The applicant proposed a change in the comprehensive uses plan amendment from neighborhood center to commercial. Related Case 9-24, 6435 Winborn Avenue. The applicant proposed a change in zoning from light commercial C1 to heavy commercial HC1. Proposed use, motor vehicle repair. The future BR Lincoln's designation is neighborhood center. PA-3-24, 6435 Winborn Avenue, related to Case 9-24.
Staff recommends denial based upon the land use designation of neighborhood center appearing appropriate, and staff cannot certify the proposed request meets the criteria for a change of zoning. Request is inconsistent with the comprehensive plan and incompatible with the existing character of the established residential land uses.
We've received a message in opposition from the adjacent church.
Thank you. At this time, I'll open the public hearing and invite the applicant to speak for a period not to exceed 15 minutes.
Good evening, sir, madam. My name is Ray Lau. I'm the owner of the property on Winborn, 6435 Winborn Avenue. I'm come here to talk about my current situation. And this is my renter. Currently, I'm listing my properties to my renter right now. And before we open the Thai, and currently used as the Thai shop. I'm sorry. And we got all the permit to open the Thai shop, and then after that we get the note like the property we cannot open the Thai shop, and they recommend us to do the rezoning. Yes, can I pass to her, please?
Sure.
I'm so nervous. Sorry.
Good afternoon, everybody. How you doing?
Could you
My
state your
name
name
is
for the
Kathleen Murray,
Thank you.
and I'm here representing my husband because he's the owner of the tire shop, but he don't speak a lot of English, so I'm gonna translate for him. And we're a small family, and we put all money into the business. First, we didn't know we cannot put the tire shop on that place. When we rented and we get all the permits from the city, they say we can put the tire shop. Okay, we don't have no problem with the neighbors because we was talking to everyone and everyone is happy with our service. And I work in the tire shop and I always treat my customer good. And we never have no complaint about no one. The other thing, before us, I have the pictures over here if you want to see it. It was like a nasty place. Homeless and danger people was around that area. And then after we get the building, we pay for all the repairs. We paint the building, we clean the yard. We was fixing everything inside and outside for make the community happy, you know. The only thing we just need is we just here because I don't know why they complain about us. It's only a tire shop. It's not for mechanic stuff. We just do for repair tires like plugs, patch, and install new and used tires. Not for heavy commercial. I don't know who say that, but we're not applying for that. We just want the tire shop. And we have a neighbor. I think he want to talk to you too. Okay.
He'll need to fill out a speaker card if he wishes to speak.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, well, if he's filled out a card, we'll call him to speak.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Okay.
Thank you.
That's all we need to say.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, our next card is for Curtis Beard. So you didn't have to wait too long.
Hello, how y'all doing?
How's it going?
Look, I'm a Desert Storm veteran. I was there before the church. And after Desert Storm, I bought a house right across from that tire shop. It was a Cracker Barrel. Now, Cracker Barrel was there before me. And I don't know how many years it was there before me. Everything was okay. I knew the guy who sold the land to the preacher who built that church there. It was just an empty field. After the church was built, maybe 3 or 4 years after the church was built, Cracker Barrel sold to Circle K. And I want to let you know, I'm not unfamiliar with the law. The late Judge Tyson is my teacher. The judge that you see on the courthouse across the street. I went to Southern University, so I'm not unfamiliar with that. This church decided to inconvenience us. The people in the neighborhood, we don't even go to that church. You know what I'm saying? We don't even go there. You go talk to all the people in the neighborhood. They don't even go there. He decided he want to use his domain power to close that Circle K. Circle K lost money. Now, they decided to move in there and open a tire shop. I can't see no reason why that tire shop is hurting them. It's another lady right down the street on the other side of the church. She's trying to open up a school for the kids, and they're giving her problems. This business is not making them lose money. They come to me with lies. One of the people come over there saying that they are bad people, which they are not. How you gonna say they're bad people? You don't even know them. This is what the church is putting out. The church is putting out that they're gonna be selling drugs out of there, selling alcohol out of there. I'm saying, where you getting this information? I live right in front of that place. My house is directly in front of them. I open my door, they're looking at me. I'm looking at them. I can see everything going on. I actually, when Cracker Barrel and Circle K was open, I actually could help them out because I can see when something was going to happen. Crime. I could stop crime because I'm looking at everything.
Yeah, about 20 seconds, sir.
So I can't understand why they want to keep them from opening when I can't see any problem. Like I said, this place was there before them, and there's nobody in the neighborhood go to that church. I don't know why they're using their power to close the place.
Thank you, sir.
And like I said, I'm a Desert Storm.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate your comments. Our next card is for Keith Black. Is it Blackmall?
My name is Keith Blackman. You know, I think that the tire shop should be open because there's a lot of cars come through there. They catch flats. We try to help them. But I think the tire shop should be there. They're not hurting nobody. They're not selling no drugs out or nothing. They just a small family business.
Okay. Thank you, sir. We have two more speaker cards that are in favor but do not wish to speak. The first is for Michael Meza, and the second is for Ming Shong. We have one speaker card that is in opposition but does not wish to speak for William. Would you like to speak, Mr. Bates? For William Bates, you may come to the podium at this time. You have the floor for 3 minutes, sir.
Good morning, board, and good morning, all that are gathered here.
Thank God it's not morning. It's been a long day.
Good afternoon, Mr. Bates. Yeah. William Bates, just so happen to be the executive pastor of Living Faith Christian Center, where I've been a member since 1997. I would like to correct a statement that was made. Living Faith Christian Center is not in opposition of the Cracker Barrel was there or this new tire shop. Our Bishop Raymond Johnson, was very ecstatic that there was a new business that was going to be put next to the church because, as she stated, there were some homeless people living over there and it was run down. We had contacted the city to make sure that the property, because we know it was vacated, wouldn't stay blighted. to remove several items of debris that was on the property. And once we saw that the property was taken over, our bishop and our church, we were happy about it because they put up a fence. We saw the work that was being done. As far as the school that's next to us, we are not in opposition of that school. It's just the school is taking whatever time they need to get the funds together to finish doing what they need to do. Our only opposition is the rezoning of the property from the C1 to the HC1, kind of concerning what the other gentleman had spoke about what would happen in perpetuity to that property. So the church is not opposed to the business being there. It's not opposed to what's happening in the community. We want the community to thrive. We want the community to flourish. We are all about the community. But when it comes to a zoning issue, that's something far and above what we do as a church that goes beyond our scope. But we do not want anybody in the community to think that we are bullying anybody or putting anybody out or wanting somebody not to be successful, because that's the antithesis of who we are and what we stand for in our community. And our only reason for opposition is for the zoning not to be changed prior, because of what it could potentially become outside of the tire shop. Thank you, board.
Thank you. At this time, I'll invite the applicant back for a 5-minute rebuttal.
Sir, Madam, look like I talked earlier, we not intend to change the rezoning to any purpose besides tile shop. Because when we talked to the Planning Commission, they said we had to do rezoning in order to open a tile shop. But our around neighbor, everybody okay for us to open the tile shop. We not intend to open anything like in purpose of rezoning. We just want to open the tile shop, make for community and for our family, and we get all the permit to open it from the permit office. In my rental talk.
Sure.
Yeah, okay. So I don't know, it was a mistake or something. I don't know, but I think it's a big mistake. Okay, but the thing is, I don't have no problem with the church either. I go into church and I believe in God too.
Yeah.
And the thing is, when we just got it, I don't know why we get all the permits for the tire shop. And now they say we cannot have a tire shop in that place. So that's the mistake, and I don't know why, because we got all the permits. And now they want to rezoning that building, and they say we want a heavy commercial. It's not a heavy commercial, because the only things we do is like brakes and oil change, like all the tire shop, they do it. So that's the only thing we do in the tire shop. And it's just my husband and me and my 2 kids, and I'm the only one who work with my other cousin in the tire shop. So it's only 2 people in the tire shop. We don't have no more employees yet because we just opened, and they robbery like 3 times. And my husband, he was thinking to close the tire shop, but I think like the neighbors, not everyone is a bad person, and I believe in everyone. And the only thing, we spend a lot of money in that place, and we hope we can stay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much.
At this time, I'll close the public hearing, and commissioners, before inviting any comments, I'd like to ask the director if he could just kind of share some comments regarding what is and what isn't allowed with the existing zoning, and kind of maybe a brief summary of what's happened to this point, where they are, and the misunderstanding that appears to have happened in regards to what they could and could not do with the property.
Certainly. There's been a lot of questions or comments that have been stated this evening regarding the proposed use of the property. What's classified as a tire shop is considered motor vehicle service and repair, and that's only allowed under heavy commercial zoning. And that's the reason the applicant's here before you tonight, asking for a plan amendment. Future BR has designated the future land use of this property as neighborhood center, which is essentially limited to light commercial zoning districts. That's the need for the plan amendment change, item 6. Item 7, the companion item, is a rezoning from light commercial to heavy commercial 1. Heavy commercial 1 is the first heavy commercial zoning district that motor vehicle repair and service is allowed. And that's based on the intensity of the repair, some of the machinery, the lug nut air guns that tend to make a lot of noise, changing tires. So the rezoning is required to do the use that the applicant's wanting to do. I can't speak to the permits issued improperly. That's another department. If those permits were issued improperly without the correct zoning, there are steps that the permit office and the parish attorney's office can take to rescind that improperly issued permit. Again, that's a separate issue outside of the rezoning and the plan amendment request tonight before you.
Thank you, Director Holcomb. Questions and comments from the commission? Any questions, comments, motions? Commissioner Boyd.
Is this a similar situation that where they could do a conditional use permit as we talked about earlier, or is that not available on this?
Unfortunately, the conditional use option is not available in the zoning district.
Commissioner Grout.
Excuse me. This sounds remarkably like what the case we just had before, where, and I think Pastor spoke to it, that not necessarily opposing what you want to do per se, but what can happen with this land going forward. You open a tire shop, you do very well, you want to move to a new location. This property is now heavy commercial, and there's a whole bunch of other uses that can happen in that. That's the concern. I have a very hard time. I mean, I understand what you want to do, and I'm perfectly fine with that. And I know that some other things have happened outside of this commission. But I have a very hard time supporting this because I do believe it is the other uses. And certainly not saying that, you would get heavy commercial and turn around and sell this. You want to open up your business, and you want to have a dream, and that's fine. But if the business fails, what happens? That land becomes valuable not as a tire store, but as a whole bunch of other things that can happen under HC1. That is the concern to me. And as with the case previous, I cannot support this because of that. If you came back with a cup or something that I don't know if that's even available for this type of use. Not a cup, but like an ice bud. An ice bud would not be, or a PUD would not be available for this, would it, Mr. Director? Okay. I can't support this. I wish I could. And it's not that I don't like your business. It's not that I don't like where you placed your business. Unfortunately, you were stuck with a zoning that you can't use. So when it comes up, I'm going to support a motion to deny.
Thank you, Vice Chairman Grout. Additional questions or comments? If there are none, are there any motions? I share similar concerns with Vice Chairman Grout. I won't belabor the point, but the bottom line is that we do certainly have to consider, as we did with the previous case, the implications of an approval on this particular property and what could happen if this business was not to succeed or was to relocate or for some reason no longer operate as a tire shop, the different opportunities that would be available and the impact that could have on the neighborhood. For that reason, I cannot support this item either. And so I'll make a motion from the chair to deny this item. Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second that motion.
Second from Commissioner Vice Chairman Grout. Are there any objections? Seeing none, those items are denied. At this time, we'll move on to item number 11, case 1324, 2900 to 3000 Valley Street.
Case 11-24, 3333 North. Case 13-24, 2900 to 3000 Valley Street. The property is located on the west side of Valley Street Drive, north of Plumberhawk Drive, Council District 12, Rocca. The applicant is Robert Holford. The applicant proposed a change in zoning from limited residential A3.1 and light commercial C1 to neighborhood center NC. Proposed use, plant nursery. The future BR land use designation is compact neighborhood. Case 13-24, 2900 to 3000 Valley Street.
Staff certifies that the proposed request meets the criteria for a change of zoning, being consistent with the comprehensive plan, compatible with surrounding uses, and conforming to the Unified Development Code requirements.
Thank you. At this time, I'll open the public hearing and invite the applicant to speak for a period not to exceed 15 minutes.
Good evening. My name is Jeremy Spikes. I'm the owner of the plant barn. Mr. Holford, who was listed on the applications, the architect. I own and operate a plant nursery there on 2912 Valley Street. We were fortunate enough to buy the property in question that is behind some residential area in between the residential area and Dawson's Creek. We hope to we're going to limit our retail space to the part that already abuts the existing, and then everything behind the existing residences, between the residences and Dawson's Creek, we can have, we'll limit that use to backstock, maybe a temporary greenhouse or something, a plastic structure. But that's kind of what we would limit any kind of retail use just to the part that abuts the existing already. And so that's what we hope to get done today. And that's it.
All right, thank you.
Thanks.
And we have a speaker card for Robert Holford. Would you like to speak also?
Yes, I'm in support of this project. It's essentially a sliver of land that's A31 now, but it's not, the dimensions are not correct for trying to develop any kind of residential behind there. It's currently overgrown and just trash and nothing back there. So I think the desire was really to increase the retail space towards Valley Street on the eastern portion of the property. It was just the owner of that piece of land sold it as one continuous piece. So we're asking for neighborhood commercial, knowing that it couldn't possibly be A31, and knowing that we're limited to, it's just under 3/4 of an acre, so that's about 32,000 square feet. We know we're limited to a certain maximum retail space, and that would obviously just to be square off what's existing right now. So I think that the business currently has definitely improved the neighborhood. It was blighted, falling down, overgrown property for many, many years, and it operates from 8 to 5. It's low noise, not a lot of traffic. I think it's improved the neighborhood. It's contributing to the property tax, and I feel like it's an improvement, so I'm in support of it.
Thank you, sir. We have 2 additional speaker cards that are in favor but do not wish to speak. Those are for Malice Bradley and Rondell Barringer. I'm sorry, would you like to speak, ma'am? Okay, you can come to the podium. Just quickly restate your name.
Hi, my name is Melissa Bradley. Good afternoon to everyone. I would just like to say that my property is located directly across from the plant barn. And even as a little child growing up, I recall going to it was a church and a store over there. That property stayed blight for an extended, long period of time. There were opportunities for people in the neighborhood to come and purchase that property. The property was purchased by the plant barn. It has brought beautification to the neighborhood. Sidewalks in that area, greenery, holidays, it looks very nice over there. I don't have any opposition for him to proceed. I do know the property in question is the extended part in the back, which is probably not enough for no homes to be built on.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. We have several speaker cards that are in opposition. The first is for Eric Willis. Sure. Marcus Ferry Sr.
Good evening. How y'all doing this evening?
Good evening.
My name is Marcus Ferry Sr. I have some packets out. Can I pass it to each one of y'all if y'all mind?
You can hand them to Commissioner Addison on the end right
All right, thank you very much. Excuse me. Like I said, my name is Marcus Ferry Sr. I've been here before opposing the rezoning of the property for my buddy Jeremy in Mean Mose. Their proposed plan originally for that his nursery, Valley Green Nursery, was the Valley Green Nursery, and that's it. But it's actually the Plant Barn and Mimos, so it's completely different what the neighborhood agreed to. The first session I did come in here, as you all have the packet I sent. We was actually opposing it, but Mr. Jeremy and I actually came to some kind of agreement that he would be a good guy and keep his word, but unfortunately, he hasn't. Well, since, and that's why we didn't come to the deferred date in opposition. Now we're having a problem here where Mr. Jeremy, after he acquired the property, that we allowed him to rezone. Now he's pushing further in the community. He's not keeping any of his words as he's promised. He hasn't hired anyone from the community. And the only reason why the young lady here is in favor for him, he also does her services. And she's actually new to the community. Everybody has signed that petition, have been in the community for years, some 80, 90 years. We just concerned, as Mr. Clifford Grout said, what would happen in the future if we continue to let Jeremy Mimos, Plant Barn, supposedly Valley Green Nursery, continue to deceive the neighborhood, continue to push forward in our community. And just for the record, there is no blight behind our homes. We are willing to pay for each property that he's acquired behind our homes. We've been taking care of our properties for years behind our homes. It's even part of some of us backyards. So we want to block this zoning and any future rezoning because of distrust, environmental safety, and I'm also a small business owner. I do a lot of things, but in my hobby, I do small engine work right there where I work out in my backyard. I've been taking care of the community for some years. I do papers for my community. Even ZZ Gardens in the surrounding areas love my services. Miss Marlene Pittman came to our community meeting on the 8th, and she heard us, she heard our voices, and she had some interesting things to say.
Sir.
Go ahead.
You have about 10 seconds.
Thank you. So therefore, we pray that y'all hear our wishes and block any zoning or future zoning because of dishonesty, trust, and safety concerns. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Willis, if you're ready, you can come to the podium at this time.
Hi, I'm Eric Willis. I'm owner of Willis & Sons Plumbing Repair and Home Maintenance, and I'm very aware of what may be about to take place in a community where I'm a fourth-generation property owner in the area, and my family, as well as Mr. Ferry's family, has been there. It's actually where me and Mr. Ferry met. We're lifelong friends, and I have a feeling that this rezoning will lead to another rezoning, which will lead to another rezoning, which will ultimately cause my home in properties that my great-grandmother worked to leave to us as gifts to our family and to pass on to our children. And that would ultimately lead to those homes being demolished, and it would be rezoned to light commercial or whatever else they would like to have it be. The owner of Mimos as well, he wants to talk about blight, but they cut down trees and let them fall in Dawson's Creek. That creek has flooded since I've been alive. I've known anytime it rains, that's what happens. They want to put up a fence, they cut the trees to let them fall in there. Anyone doesn't believe me, pass over there this evening right on Plum Brook. They got trees off of their property hanging in the canal. as well as the property across the street. When we want to speak on blighted properties, you got to make sure your own property isn't blighted when you're speaking on blighted properties. I myself was in the process of purchasing the property because it was listed under adjudicated, but my home flooded, so I had to use all my financial resources to make repairs to my home, and that's what ceased my operations as in purchasing the property when it was adjudicated, when they had a home and the property was blighted. It had a home and a church on it. But myself, as well as the other property owners in the area, I speak on all of our behalf when I say that we pray that you all would oppose this rezoning from A31 to neighborhood commercial. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next card is for Edrica Bowie.
Hello. I'm Ednika Bowie. My only concern is right now is if he puts storage units or other things there, will it flood our area? That's one thing. And the other thing would be, can he change that later on if he wants to put something else there? That's my only concern I have right now. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. We have one additional speaker card. They do not wish to speak. That is for Leslie Willis. At this time, I'll invite the applicant back for a 5-minute rebuttal.
As far as we think we took a piece of property that was abandoned and not in use and put a good-looking plant nursery on. And we try to be as responsible of a neighbor as we can to everyone in the neighborhood. This piece of property, also not in use, has not been developed since the neighborhood was sectioned off. And again, we hope to be as responsible as a neighbor as we can, restrict the retail use to what abuts the property already, and then also any sort of structure that would be put on the neighborhood commercial would be like a temporary hoop house kind of greenhouse kind of thing. That we take very seriously our responsibilities as a business owner in the community to try to improve the community. We planted 30 trees at the Flame School there, which is the only school in Valley Park. Just outside Valley Park, we do work, we volunteer, we give money to Baton Rouge Green. There's a large installation next to the interstate right outside Valley Park. The next nearest school is WHAM. We donated and installed a pergola for WHAM. We've donated plants to the new McKinley Elementary. We've donated plants to the for Baton Rouge to the Howell Park Community Garden. So we take very seriously being responsible citizens. We have people on staff that volunteer with Keep Tiger Town Beautiful that went out and cleaned up the overpass. So we try to be as responsible as possible, and we understand and hear the concerns of our neighbors. Thank you.
Thank you. Commission members, at this time, I will close the public hearing. And before inviting any questions or comments, obviously a few concerns were raised. Director Holcomb, can you kind of clarify whether or not they're able to do what they're proposing to do with any other, or I guess less intense zoning, and also let me know what is the most intense use for the neighborhood commercial that they're seeking?
Certainly. The difference in this item versus the other two items is that the applicant's not asking or is required to ask for a change in the land use category under Future BR. This land is designated under Future BR as a compact neighborhood, so only compact neighborhood scale commercial uses or zoning districts would be compatible. That's what the applicant's asking for. The most restrictive neighborhood commercial zoning district. It has the protection that it limits retail structures to 2,500 square feet per lot. Outdoor nurseries are limited in outdoor sales area to 10,000 square feet of outdoor sales area per lot. And again, that's what the applicant's asking for today is a rezoning, just a rezoning, not a companion land use amendment to the most restrictive neighborhood commercial district we have available.
Thank you. Other questions or comments from the commission? Commissioner Addison.
Thank you much, Mr. Chairman. On this particular zoning, Mr. Director, what is the size of this square foot of the lot that is being asked for rezoning? I don't have a map in front of me.
Let me pull that information up.
Thank you, sir.
The total size of the rezoning of the area requested is 32,000, roughly 32,000 square feet in area.
Okay. And I think I understood the applicant to say that it's on the backside of his current used property, that he's just expanding his current footprint. Would that be correct as well?
That's correct. If you see on the attached vicinity map to the staff report, it's a small sliver of property that backs up to the drainage canal there, adjacent to the existing business and nursery.
Unfortunately for me, I'm not able to get in my system here, so I can't see the map. That's why I was saying that. I usually can read my maps from here. That's what I'm sorry about. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you.
And even though the area is larger than what's allowed by the zoning district, there's additional protections by this zoning district limit him and restrict him to a further smaller scale. The overall area is 32,000 square feet, but again, he's limited in outdoor sales area and storage to 10,000 square feet for the plant nursery, and any building or structure would be limited to 2,500 square feet.
Now, under this current zoning that he's applying for, he would not be able to, they talked about possibly putting structures on that particular parcel of the property. I heard one of the persons in opposition talk about the possible building something on it. Would that be possible under this zoning and that particular stretch of property that he's looking to do?
Only one small structure per lot would be allowed under the zoning district.
On the whole lot, on the whole structure?
Correct.
Okay.
And if it directly abutted any residential use, there would be a buffer yard for additional protection, of fencing, and additional landscaping.
Okay, just wanted to be clear on that part. I think there's a gentleman in the purple shirt. I'm sorry, I don't remember your name, but can you come back up for a minute? Guy handed out these.
Yes, sir. Good evening again.
Good afternoon. Thank you for coming back. You gave me some of the reasons why you were opposing this particular rezoning. You said that you all met before the initial applicant, and he did not live up to his agreement. What agreements are you speaking of in regards to him not living up to agreements in terms of whatever y'all previously agreed upon?
Correct. Yes, sir. As you see, as everybody see on the original plans for Valley Green Nursery, well, these original plans, his business is not just Valley Green Nursery. It's called the Plant-Born and Mimos, or this projected to be plants, but it's not. Well, that's for one. Well, Jeremy and I have his personal phone number. Before he even acquired the properties, he went through the process telling me he didn't have anybody that he had any Palms degrees here, and that people were upset with him for acquiring the property, prime property, as he said. And he asked what the community. He passed out donuts and pretty much told us fibs, kind of stories, because he didn't keep his end of the deal. His end of the deal was to hire employees from the neighborhood, take care of the neighborhood, the whole circle community, not just put sidewalks in front of his business, but around the neighborhood, and help us out. and not attack our properties behind our homes. Well, that's exactly what he did. After he acquired the properties, and we allowed him to rezone it after we didn't come to the permit of the second time of 16. Well, he went forward to contact the property owner, the developer that acquired the properties in adjudication, which he's trying to just rezone now, and. And he also knew that each property owner was interested in have the money to buy the property behind our homes, but he made like he only wanted behind the plant barn, and that's it. But he agreed just last week to sell the property to each homeowners, Ms. Deborah, myself, and anybody else that wished to buy the property. And he said he asked us to help him get one portion behind the plant barn rezoned. Unknown to us, he was trying to get all of it rezoned. Unknown to us that he wasn't being honest. He lied. He later called me. I called him to touch bases with him. Hey, buddy, what's going on? He said, hey, man, that's the deal's off the table. No, you called the city on me, and I know it was you. Marcus, it's all about you. I'm like, no, buddy, I wouldn't dare. We let you in this community. Why would I do that? It was you. I'm going forward. I'm taking my chances. It was you, and nobody wants that property. That's exactly what he said. Well, the community is here. We're speaking, and we just want just service, and we want to be protected, and to block any rezoning.
Thank you much, sir. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Addison. Vice Chair McGraw.
Those are some fairly strong comments, and I don't know the history, and this is getting personal. And we're not here for that. We're here for the zoning. My two questions are the property that's 3.1, if the small sliver against this gentleman's nursery is brought into his property, that makes this, and it may already make it, that this sliver of property behind the A31, which is also A31, becomes, if I'm not mistaken, Mr. Director, it becomes a piece of property with no access. Is that correct?
That's correct. It would either have no access or very limited access, depending on the configuration of that bridge over the canal.
The concern I have is that it basically would make this property, I don't want to say unusable, but it would be green space, dead space. I have a concern with that. But, the other issues about what was said to who and when and what phone calls were made, I can't, that's a he said. And unless, I don't have a problem with this rezoning. There are several neighbors who do. The owner can come back up. I need to ask you a couple of questions. Right. I remember this original zoning when it came up a number of years ago. Now, what is MIMOs and what is Plant Barn?
MIMOs is just a lawn service, and Plant Barn's planters.
Okay. So you haven't, it's not like you have a commercial facility, a restaurant that you've opened or anything else on this?
No, sir. Okay. We're closed every day by 5. Mr. Ferry likes to say that he allowed us into the community, but he opposed us the first time as well. And he has a vested interest in me not getting the zoning because he's using part of this land already for his own use.
Again, I don't want to get into I don't want to get into personalities here.
But that's the main opposition to it.
Well, so. I said I don't want to get into, again, he said,
right,
and who's doing what to whom and when.
Right.
My concern is the positive use of this land. I'm kind of surprised the city hasn't given it back to the owners or had some, but that's a mechanism that's outside of my control. What's before us is before us. I can't, you're going to be limited to what you're allowed under that zoning. I can't say what you're going to do, what building you put where. You just have to comply with zoning. So I'm going to think about this for a few moments, but thank you for
Thank
your responses.
Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner
if I may.
Addison.
Thank you much. I'm not sure your name, Mr. Can you come back up?
Yes, sir.
You're the owner of this property, correct?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so it's not a city's property, it's actually a private-owned property that we're looking to rezone here. It's not, you own the property.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I just want to be clear on what we're stating here. We actually rezoning property that you as the applicant desires to have rezoned.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Wait, 1 second. Come back 1 second. I'm sorry.
I'll just stay here. Okay.
The building on this rendering that you gave us, is this a proposed new structure, or is
That's in place. That
That is the
was
building that's
proposed, was built, and it's in place. And we've been open. September was a year, and we just wanted just a little bit more retail space, and then the areas behind the houses, just an area to kind of have like a holding area, lines of plants, and perhaps the only structures we really want to put on there are greenhouses, which are hoop houses covered in plastic.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Also need to add, because this area is in a flood zone, as you can see on the map, that adds additional restrictions. It's going to be very difficult. There was some concerns about building other structures, anything other than plant storage or greenhouse, non-inhabitable buildings. It would be very difficult.
Thank you, Director Holcomb. Other questions or comments from the commission? Any motions? Commissioner Addison.
I move for approval.
There's a motion on the floor from Commissioner Addison to approve this item. Is there a second to that motion? Second from Commissioner Fowler. Are there any objections? Seeing none, that item is approved. At this time, we'll move on to item number 12, case 1524-9432 Jefferson Highway.
Case 15-24-9432 Jefferson Highway. The property is located on the south side of Jefferson Highway, east of Bluebonnet Road, Council District 11, Adams. The applicant is Bryant Voth. The applicant proposed a change in zoning from single-family residential A1 to general office low-rise GOL. Proposed use, medical clinic. The future BR Lincoln's designation is compact neighborhood. Case 15-24-9432 Jefferson Highway.
Staff certifies that the proposed request meets the criteria for a change of zoning, being consistent with the comprehensive plan, compatible with surrounding uses, and conforming to the Unified Development Code requirements.
Thank you. At this time, I'll open the public hearing and invite the applicant to speak for a period not to exceed 15 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening, everyone. My name is Murray McCullough with Benchmark Group, 12232 Industrialplex Boulevard, Suite 9, Baton Rouge 70809. Appreciate the opportunity. I represent the applicant in this particular piece of property. As you know, it's located on the southeast corner of the intersection of Jefferson Highway and Bluebonnet Drive, and we are requesting the use as a medical office facility. My client works with, is in a partner with Dr. Weiler, a plastic surgeon, cosmetic surgeon, and this is going to be their medical office facility. It is owner used. It is consistent as it's stated with the comprehensive plan, because we didn't need a comprehensive plan amendment. And it is, as you know, it's across Bluebonnet Drive is some attached townhomes, and then to our east is another office complex similar to what we're proposing here. This is not multiple offices. This is strictly the use for the doctor, the whole facility. So it's not for rent property that I'm aware of at this particular point in time. So that being said, I'll be glad to answer any questions you may have. If not, we would respectfully request this request be approved.
Thank you.
And I have Mr. Voth here with he would like to speak. He did fill out a card. I don't know if it got to you yet, but he'd like to speak as well.
We have it, Mr. Voth. You can approach at this time.
Thank you all. Sorry for putting you in late. Murray basically said everything point blank of what we're doing. We have been in the community for a while. We do have offices stretching all across Louisiana, and this is, we've had some success in Baton Rouge, and we're looking to expand a little bit to give us some more opportunity. We currently have a location, you can look it up on at 4212 Bluebonnet. Frankly, we've run out of space. Not a lot available in that complex. We actually moved our metro to the metro on Jefferson to put our administrative building there for to increase our space, and this would actually give us the opportunity to continue to grow and continue to impact the community in a positive way. Thank you.
Thank you. We have several speaker corps that are in opposition. The first is for Azmat Imdad.
Hello.
Good evening.
Good evening, guys. I just would like to oppose the idea of the medical office in the neighborhood, because I think it's not safe for the office to build in the neighborhood because it attracts more traffic and customers. You know, obviously it's an office, so people are going to come and visit. But we have a lot of people like jogging in the neighborhood, or they have the babies, the kids are cycling in the neighborhood. So I don't think it's safe for the office to have like a commercial office in the neighborhood. That's mostly my concern. I mean, we already have problem with people like they're driving too fast in the neighborhood, and you know, like it's the safety risk. That's mainly my concern. Thank you.
Thank you.
No problem.
Our next card is for Mukhtar Khan.
Hi. That area is a strictly residential. I want it to remain strict residential because any non-residential use will bring unwanted traffic, and our families walk there, jog there, and I just do not want their safety to be jeopardized or compromised. So I just want it to be strictly residential. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, last card is for Dr. Imtiaz Khan.
Hello, my name is Imtiaz Khan. I also live in this neighborhood. So there's Bluebonnet Boulevard, which has multiple plastic surgery offices, multiple medical clinics. And then there's east of Bluebonnet Boulevard towards the right side on Jefferson, where there's also multiple commercial buildings, including a lot of the similar size available for the exact same price, as I was also looking into purchasing both of these lots myself. That is already listed as Commercial Zone 2. It's behind Dr. Sam Levatino's dentistry clinic. That would be more ideal for this kind of thing. The other thing is there's Bluebonnet Boulevard, which runs all the way up and down, has replaced Bluebonnet Drive, that has zoning districts, BDD, Bluebonnet Design Districts. Those are the ones where all of these medical clinics and various different things are. As far as on Bluebonnet Drive, it is strictly all the way north above Jefferson, all the way south below Jefferson, where it ends at the new Bluebonnet Drive is a strictly residential street. And as we pointed out, we have multiple family members. We own about 4 lots and houses in that neighborhood. There's another vascular surgeon who I've spoken to about it. He owns 5 lots in that neighborhood. There's a gastroenterologist in that neighborhood. He owns 3 lots in that neighborhood. While I didn't get the signatures from them, I've discussed it with them. Nobody wants, additional. But this is a request for office district. So if you look at everything between Drusilla, which runs up and down north on the left side or the west side, Bluebonnet Boulevard, which runs north and south on the east side, and then Jefferson, and all the way down to I-10. The entire district is residential. There's no, other than on the Bluebonnet Boulevard itself, on the Bluebonnet Boulevard itself, there's no office located on there. The building to the east that they're discussing is in an interim or in transit type of zoning, and it's owned by the state or the city. So they're the only ones who have anything non-residential. The entire, if you look at it, it's all AAA. Even the opposite side of Bluebonnet Drive that is there is A2.5 townhouses, as well as A1 single-family home. So this was actually a lot that was purchased that was a single-family home, A1, and it's being changed over to an office district, general office low-rise. So again, considering the quality of the neighborhood being an entirely residential neighborhood, we want to oppose it for that reason. The second reason to oppose it for is if the doctor has a reason to, build something, there's better options where there's more commercial. All along BDD, along the Bluebonnet Boulevard, there's multiple offices available. There's multiple lots for sale. And if we're building from scratch, you can build over there, or otherwise towards Jefferson. I myself have built 2 different clinics, so I don't want to be in opposition to him for as far as building his practice and bringing quality to the city and state. But there's better places to do it rather than in the middle of a neighborhood.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Thank you. Sorry
Thank
your
you.
time is up.
Yes.
At this time, I'll invite the applicant back for a 5-minute rebuttal.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We appreciate the opportunity for the rebuttal. We did, I meant to mention this in my presentation, we did speak to Councilwoman Adams about this extensively, and she seems to be on board with it. And I don't believe she had gotten any calls of opposition, at least not at the time we spoke to her. That being said, we think this is a perfect transition, perfect use. Many of the properties I think he spoke about on Jefferson between Drusilla and particularly on the south side of Jefferson, are going commercial. There are a number of those facilities that are going commercial. This piece of property is vacant, it's zoned A1, it's never going to be developed as A1. It is a great transition between what I would consider a multifamily. It's single family owned townhomes, but they are connected. Across the street from us and then adjacent to us is also an office complex. It's perfect. It's really perfect for the use. The general office low rise is, while it allows other things, is fairly restrictive as well. And then one other thing, before the meeting, there was another couple of folks here that had some questions about it. One gentleman, I got his card, Mr. Matt Henderson. I think he lives in the townhomes. And there was a lady with him, and I apologize, I did not get her name. But they had asked us some questions. We had answered their questions just right out here in the lobby. They ended up leaving because they said, we don't have any problem with what you're asking for, and they were adjacent to this. So this property is available for sale. My client has a purchase agreement on it, and the owner has authorized the rezoning. And the planning staff has recommended or has certified that it's consistent, and therefore we respectfully request that this property be recommended for approval to the council. Thank you. I'll be glad to answer any questions if you have any. I'll even ask a few if you want. I think we're boring Mr. Addison. I'm not sure. It's good to see you again. Thank you.
My arm hurts. You're not bored.
Mr. Addison is very capable of keeping himself entertained. I'm sure he's doing fine over there. At this time, we'll. No, sir. I'm sorry. We've concluded. We're concluding the public hearing. Sir, if somebody calls you to speak, you'll be able to share additional thoughts. But he's afforded the opportunity to rebut what you said, and you have the opportunity to express all of your comments during your 3-minute period. So at this time, we'll close the public hearing, and I'll invite any questions or comments from the commission. Vice Chairman McGraw.
Mr. Director, does the general office low-rise, which I believe is what they're asking for, does that limit them in their sizes of buildings?
It's limited by scale, so it's a low scale by definition. There is a more intense scale, general office high-rise. That's not what the applicant's requesting. You look at the abutting zoning of B1, it's an old inactive zoning district. This is the most compatible zoning district, a similar zoning district to the old B1. So it is a transitional zoning district, similar in context to the old B1 next to it.
Okay, thank you.
Additional questions and comments from the commission? I'm looking at you, Mr. Addison. I feel like you okay? You sure? Other questions, comments? Any motions?
I also need to point out on the staff report, it's highlighted, this is in a overlay district, in the Bluebonnet Boulevard overlay district. I believe the applicant is aware of that. So there is an additional certification this office would have to provide whenever they submit for site plan layout and permitting.
Thank you, Director Holcomb. Questions, comments, and motions from the commission members?
I move for approval, Mr. Chairman.
There's a motion on the floor from Commissioner Addison to approve this item. Is there a second? There's a second from Commissioner Ellender. Are there any objections? Seeing none, that item is approved.
Mr. Chairman, we can now move on to item 14, which is consideration to establish a special meeting of the Planning Commission on Monday, April 22nd. Your regular scheduled meeting in April is April 15th, the Monday before this date. A little background on this. The consultant for the Florida Boulevard Master Plan that's underway now, Perkins and Will, Build Baton Rouge is coordinating that effort, but the national consultant team with local consultants have been proceeding with work and progress on that plan, and they simply reached out to our office to schedule a special meeting date. Again, I'm suggesting Monday, April 22nd. That's the date they provided. This meeting would be at our office, 1100 Laurel Street at 5 o'clock. We would need a motion to set that meeting date. And again, it would be a more informal setting just to hear feedback on the status of that plan, the progress that has been made thus far, and that would be coming to you later this summer as a small area plan. That would be a future item, but again, this would just be setting a special meeting date to receive additional information. There would be no action at that meeting.
I so move.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor from Commissioner Grout to approve the item for this special meeting. Is there a second? Second from Commissioner Fowler. Are there any objections or any additional discussion? Seeing none, that item is approved. We'll move on to communications, beginning with director's comments.
So a few things to bring to your attention. A reminder, the Planning Commission office will be closed on Friday, March 29th in observance of the Good Friday holiday for the city, parish, and state holidays. The next meeting of the Planning Commission will be your regular meeting on April 15th, followed by a special meeting you just said on April 22nd. The April 15th meeting, of course, will be here. April 22nd, the special meeting will be at our office, and we'll send out notifications and make calls for both of those. And I need to wish a belated happy birthday to our chairman. Happy birthday, Chairman Washington. I think you had a recent birthday this weekend.
Friday, then. That's right. Thank you. Thank you, Director Holcomb. All right. At this time, we will move on to commissioners' comments, and I will begin by congratulating our latest employee of the month, Yolanda Derrick, of the current planning division. She's the latest employee of the month, and she has provided a valuable contribution to the department in her duties. She's responsible for the review of rezoning applications and preparing zoning letters. She is consistently dependable and is punctual in reporting to work. In all of her assignments, Yolanda displays a positive attitude and overall willingness to assist others. She never hesitates to step in to help with new tasks when other staff members are out of the office. Please join me in congratulating Yolanda. She also was kind enough to let us into the building today, so we're eternally grateful for that. Any additional comments from the commission? If not, is there a motion to adjourn? Motion from Vice Chairman Grout. I'll second it from the chair. Any objections? Seeing none, the meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everyone.